Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at the 20 greatest and worst television adaptations of video games we have ever seen. Prepare for a wave of nostalgia, both good and embarrassing. Before we begin, we publish new videos all week long, so be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Worst, Viva Piñata.
And therefore not fill up with candy, and therefore fail the candiosity test, and therefore not get sent to a party.
Considering this show launched around the same time as the first game, we have to wonder where the confidence from Microsoft came from. Was a game about raising sentient piñata animals really going to blow up the same way Pokemon did? The answer was a swift no, and the show probably killed it.
You were saying?
Hey!
Viva Piñata was kind of like Seinfeld, but in the worst of ways. Every episode kind of meandered with basic plot points, and failed to be funny the majority of the time. If you were a fan of the games, then maybe you found some entertainment here. As for the rest of the public, Viva Piñata has faded into obscurity.
Excuse me, I was wondering, how do you... What the... Hey, I almost had his attention!
Best, Devil May Cry, the animated series. Though we are getting a new animated series on Netflix, we did have an adaptation of Devil May Cry long ago. Devil May Cry, the animated series, told an original story taking place between the very first two games. We'll be the first to admit that the writing is far from perfect, although the fights are just as exhilarating to watch despite being too few and far between. In case you haven't already, you should go watch this show before the Netflix rendition is out, as it does have an overall solid story for Dante and friends, especially when you hit that finale. What a good ending.
I'm sure it must have been a long, hard trip for you.
Worst, Halo. Microsoft has fumbled the ball so badly when it comes to Halo that we had a sick feeling in our stomachs the second the show was announced. Sure enough, it was a worse train wreck than we had anticipated. From departures from the source material to the infamous scene between John and Mackie, it felt like no one had a firm grasp on why players loved the original Halo games and their stories. It was just standard romance and violence you would expect from any other TV show, except it was masquerading as a bad Master Chief cosplay. The second season is supposedly really good, but as to whether it's worth sitting through one whole bad season to get there, it's debatable.
Just as ugly as I remember.
Best, The Cuphead Show.
Fire!
You saying it's my fault?
So what if I am?
The story behind Cuphead, the video game, is so linear and basic that it was hard to imagine how a TV show would turn out. In the end, the Cuphead show turned out way better than it had any right to be. With a good handful of animation veterans who worked on shows like the Powerpuff Girls, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, and SpongeBob SquarePants, the Cuphead show was incredibly entertaining with its voice acting, visual gags, and clever writing. To this day, some of us still get a kick out of the episode that introduces King Dice to the story. That is arguably the best in the series.
You had him right in the palm of your hand! I am very disappointed!
Worst, Rabbids Invasion. On paper, we could see a Rabbids series working out rather well. Maniacal bunnies from space trying to make sense of the human world? There's bound to be hilarity somewhere. Alas, not in Rabbids Invasion. In this show, the Rabbids lived up to how some older folks would view cartoons. Nothing but colors and noise. On top of that, it failed to capture what made the Rabbids genuinely funny in the games. These guys should be causing mayhem in the dumbest of ways, right? So, why are they suddenly innocent and playing nice with people? They really did just turn them into the minions of video games. Such a shame. The Rabbids deserve better. Best Earthworm Jim.
He's master of the flying toupee.
On the other side of absurd comedy was this short-lived classic. Earthworm Jim reveled in the nonsensical nature of the games and rolled with every punch. Some episodes would feature epic fights while others made tedium the butt of the joke. It was clever with its gags, creative in its animation, and boasted a catchy theme song that many still remember today, including yours truly. Unfortunately, some recent controversies surrounding creator Doug TenNapel have caused much of the industry to alienate him and, through association, our beloved wormy hero. So, we may never get another one of these, let alone another Earthworm Jim game. Sucks because he is such a groovy guy. Worst, Donkey Kong Country.
Donkey Kong?
Whether you appreciate the schlock here is up to you, but we all have to admit that Donkey Kong Country was far from being remotely decent. Almost every joke fails to land, and the music is all poorly written. But worst of all is the animation.
That board is my soulmate, dude. We've bonded, so bring it back alive.
All of the characters are animated through motion capture, and it is downright sickening to watch. Every movement, every gesture, every delivery is so uncanny that it makes the show look super gross. In a way, maybe there is a fun challenge in seeing who reels back first among friends, but when wanting something enjoyable, Donkey Kong Country is nowhere on any list of recommendations.
See, you gotta have the first banana and then the second banana. Hey, easy, DK.
Best, You Don't Know Jack.
Now it's time to test your mental ability, your physical agility, and your extreme gullibility.
Before the Jackbox Party Pack series took off, Jackbox Games was known for their hit trivia video games, You Don't Know Jack. The series was such a resounding success that it eventually spawned this short-lived game show.
Tail Rider! Eric!
Clint Eastwood movie.
No, I'm sorry, that's both.
The game's host, Cookie Masterson, would take the back seat as announcer, while the show would be hosted by Troy Stevens, played by Paul Rubens. In addition to maintaining the trademark pop culture-infused questions, You Don't Know Jack was also a genuinely funny show, as Troy and Cookie riffed with each other, the contestants, and the audience. Unfortunately, the show only lasted 6 episodes on account of low viewership. To this day, few fans have any idea about the show even airing. Yet, episodes can be found online.
Hop on! You're $29,000 richer! Congratulations!
Worst, Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm.
I've come to warn you that Scorpion is on his way from Outworld to invade Earth.
You're certain Scorpion is coming?
Yes.
The main reason why Mortal Kombat blew up in popularity was its violent, graphic nature with its finishing moves. So what part of it said to somebody, hey, this would make for a really cool cartoon for kids? Even if you ignore the lack of brutal fights, Defenders of the Realm is just a mess.
Time to kick some nomad butt.
The fights are boring to watch, the writing makes no sense in terms of basic narrative structure, and the environments are just super bland. You really think any of these locations are fit for a Mortal Kombat world? And when you see just how imaginative the games are in their own gruesome ways, you would think the show would have some inspiration. Alas, the stink of cheap budget is strong here, and it makes Defenders of the Realm suffer greatly.
No honor, no victory.
Interior secure.
Best, Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Whereas most shows try to revolve their stories around the games they are adapting, Cyberpunk Edgerunners is a different story. Literally. The show takes place in Night City just as the game does, and it depicts various buildings and districts the same way the game does. However, it focuses on a completely different set of characters. From the magical romance between David and Lucy to the over-the-top action, Cyberpunk Edgerunners is a thrill ride through and through with a tragic end that will make you tear up. Needless to say, Studio Trigger really went above and beyond with this one. Worst, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures.
Bring on the ghosts!
Sorry, Pac. This isn't an ecto emergency.
We are no stranger to Pac-Man getting his own show. Most folks forget about the animated series Hanna-Barbera put out back in the 80s. However, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures was the lowest point we've seen him in.
No! Bring the key! Bring me the key! Oh, I forgot that floating eagle can't hear me!
Just how bad was this? Well, let's put it this way. Pac-Man is a kid who attends maze school. The villain's name is Betrayus, and the villain's two henchmen have names built around the word butt, and that's B-U-T-T, because we need that toilet humor in our Pac-Man show. Look, we get that Pac-Man is not a deep character, but changing his entire character for the sake of a half-hearted cartoon is simply egregious. But we will admit that the worst offender has yet to come.
I'm so in! What could possibly go wrong at a beach party?
Best, Arcane. Regardless if you're a League of Legends player or not, this is truly a show that anybody can enjoy. Arcane tells the story of two sisters entangled in a war between the rich and the impoverished. The animation is spectacular throughout every episode thanks to its unique blend of 2D and 3D visuals. The chemistry between leads Ella Purnell and Haley Steinfeld elevates the tension between Jinx and V with every encounter. And with the show winning several awards, many of which are Annies and Emmys, the audiences have spoken. More Arcane is needed. Worst, Mega Man Fully Botched. I'm sorry, excuse me. Mega Man Fully Charged.
Dr. Light, it's an honor.
Oh, the honor is all mine, Principal 100. How often does one get the opportunity to address the bright future of Silicon City during Unity Week?
When it comes to god-awful redesigns, Mega Man Fully Botched truly is the worst offender. Just looking at his overall design, it's as if a human character came out of Paw Patrol in an exosuit. As for the writing and stories themselves, we expected better from Man of Action Entertainment.
My sister is human. I'm a robot. We get along great.
These are the guys behind shows like Ben 10 and Generator Rex, yet they produced something where the dialogue is hokey and the action makes Mega Man seem like it could be the most boring game to play. What was missing here? A reasonable budget or the genuine passion? You want a good Mega Man TV show? Go watch NT Warrior. That stuff's great. That's the best rendition of Mega Man we've seen.
Let's finish this!
Best, The Last of Us. At first, The Last of Us was looking somewhat questionable. The casting was shaping up to be a bit strange in who was playing who.
How about we just let it go?
And there was much discussion around whether the show was even necessary when the game was essentially close enough to being a movie or TV show in the first place. What we got was a series that is wonderfully shot, beautifully written, and offers more meat to an already well-crafted story. In other words, it kind of was a necessary show, and it'll be interesting to see how it tells the story of Ellie a bit differently than the games. Worst, Tak and the Power of Juju. We are by no means saying that Tak was a bad franchise. The games were solid, they were decent at least, and they were a good effort from Avalanche Software and THQ in making something original with Nickelodeon. However, the show that came after the games, dreadful.
Okay.
After the magic and wonder we saw in the games, how do you make the land of the Pupanunu so dull and lifeless? Just show characters hanging around flat environments and make the humor less witty. Had the show maintained the same level of quality as the games did, maybe Tak really would have continued on for a while longer. Best, Castlevania. Hard to believe some of the key staff behind this had never played Castlevania because you'd think this show was written by hardcore fans. Castlevania went through 4 brilliant seasons that raised the bar for itself each time.
Oh shit.
On top of that, it touched upon some sensitive topics regarding race, religion, and love in very thought-provoking ways. Though Nocturne has yet to surpass its predecessor, Netflix has managed to revive interest in Konami's long-dormant IP thanks to this first series. Worst, Resident Evil. Speaking of Netflix, not every IP they've adapted has turned into gold. Anime fans will certainly know why I'm saying that. But perhaps their biggest blunder in the video game space was Resident Evil. There was just so much about this show that was absurd even for Capcom's survival horror franchise. Between the lunchroom scene with the bullies to the idea of Lance Reddick being a clone of Albert Wesker.
My name's Albert Wesker, I work here. There's been an incident.
Just how does this show have anything to do with Resident Evil when the only connection it shows is the name? All you needed to do was adapt the first game, man. Or hell, adapt any one of them. Start at RE2 if you wanted to. Whatever this show was, it was just amateurish in every way possible.
Owning them. Hey, I didn't want to ruin it.
Best, Sonic X.
I wish just once I could do something heroic. Like Sonic.
There aren't too many great anime based on video games, but if you want the best of the best, Sonic X is at the top of the list. With excellent animation and fantastic voice acting, Sonic X managed to take games like Sonic Adventure and retell their stories in a concise manner.
He can cause chaos control with just one Chaos Emerald? Who is he?
Was it perfect every time? Not always, but it was hard to be in such a foul mood after hearing that adrenaline-fueled theme song every episode.
Gotta go faster, 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 faster.
To this day, no other Sonic adaptation has come close to matching the level of quality here. Well, in the TV world there isn't. Those movies are pretty dope though.
Yippee! We did it! We did it!
Worst, Candy Crush.
They will compete in a series of qualifying rounds throughout the night. Win a qualifying round and earn the advantage to choose which king-size challenge you want to play.
We've seen some truly awful TV shows based on games, but Candy Crush truly takes the nasty cake. Delicious? I think not. Contestants are tasked with playing the mobile game under mundane restrictions. Yeah, it was one big glorified and monotonous let's play, and no, there was nothing fun about it.
2, 1, crush! Oh, she's going to work!
The show was blasted by both TV critics and video game pundits, with most agreeing that it was yet another example of how big business television doesn't understand the real entertainment people get from video games. And just so you know how bad this truly was, IMDb lists the show with a rating of 2.1 out of 10. That's how bad it is. But you want to know what the best video game TV show is? the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Call it the nostalgia talking, or the movie brainwashing us, but the Super Mario Bros. Super Show will always be the best video game adaptation without question.
Mommy missed her little cheapie so much! Mommy!
We will be the first to admit that the writing isn't super spectacular, and there is no super deep lore to obsess over, but do you really need all that? What makes this show shine most is its focus on simple, goofy fun. From the live-action segments where Mario and Luigi run their plumbing business to the animated shorts of them facing off against King Koopa, it was basic Saturday morning cartoon fare, and we loved every second of it. Now, before you all go do the Mario, let us know if you got to watch any of these shows for yourself, and don't forget to subscribe to MojoPlays for more great videos every day. Now, do the Mario!
Till next time, everybody, do the Mario!
The Mario! Do the Mario! Swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario. Take one step, and then again. Let's do the Mario all together now. Come on now, just like that.